I'm your host and editor, Diana Logry. Thank you for tuning in. The Citizens Reporter is brought to you live from the SCC studios out of White Bear Lake. And the Citizens Reporter, of course, being live, we invite you to call in with any questions or comments that you may have this evening on this evening's news broadcast. Now, I also have with me this evening, helping with the news report for the week, Mr. Mark Bradley, a regular Citizen Reporter.
Thank you for having me again this week.
Yes.
And I guess I should start out with what's in the newspaper. And what we have is from the Thursday, which was yesterday, November 5th, Star Tribune. They're announcing that, I'll tell you, the panel that was reviewing marijuana decided it's very risky to let these people that are suffering in pain have to worry about getting their drugs, so they're just not going to handle it.
Oh, really?
They voted it down. And to me, I feel that this is the one time that you do have a point to take a look at and ask the real true question on it. They keep playing this game with the public. And the Thursday before, there was something that I think relates to this. Number one is that most people are aware of the effectiveness of pot or marijuana, whatever you want to call it, in, how should I say, the recreational, the part which you go wink, wink, and I don't do it, but at least I don't inhale part of it. But in truth, if you read about that part of it, which was in the week before's, they were talking about pot in recreational use. Mm-hmm. And in the country, it actually has doubled in the last 10 years. In other words, you may have had a lot of pot smokers that were out there 10 years ago when it was still the thing to do as the hippies and all that stuff. But we have new hippies that are more, how should you say, mainstream. They are not getting just high to listen to special music anymore. Mm-hmm. This is something that they do in the, how should I say, confines of their home. Mm-hmm. And the reality is that the public already is experimenting with it, and I guess I'm asking the question, why is our conscience not taking the same relevancy of it and saying it's worthwhile?
Mm-hmm. Well, and keep in mind, Minnesota does have a law on the book that allows for some medical use of marijuana, right. But in the country is one of the most restrictive laws in place. And what this board was looking at and considering is whether or not it should be expanded for more other types of medical conditions. And whereas this panel at one time was considering doing that and expanding the scope of which that medical use could be used for, now they've decided the answer is no.
And I guess my point would be that we've discussed it in the past, and why don't we fall back on a little bit of our past history to bring out the fact that this is the only drug that is supposed to be a Class A type drug. All the other drugs, including heroin and things like that, are not even put into the same category as this. This is the one drug that is not allowed for experimentation. I can see them not going for open it up, but
for medical experimentation.
For medical experimentation.
Right, yes.
And I'm saying I can see not open it up to the public, but I can see that they should actually have done something salient enough to say that the public as a whole can't have it, but maybe we should do a test to justify it one way or the other.
Right, well, and what you've talked about before on these programs is how it's classified as a narcotic.
Right.
And that it's classified in that category of narcotics as being the most dangerous type of narcotics, as opposed to other narcotics, as you've mentioned, are not in that category at all, and that you've called for changing how it's classified in the categories for narcotics.
And in that way, at least a small experimental group could